We're going to change gears now and talk about our emotions, the ups and downs of running a small business, coming up next with Krista Morrissey on The Pat Miller Show.
America's Small Business Conversation continues next
on The Pat Miller Show.
Krista Morrissey for Choices Coaching and Consulting.
Do you know where most small businesses go wrong? They invest in everything except their leaders. But through strong leaders comes strong business. Are you doing it wrong? Most small businesses focus on production and numbers. Production and numbers come through strong, resilient leaders. And strong leaders strengthen culture. They strengthen your resiliency and they strengthen your bottom line. I develop strong, resilient leaders who will drive your business. It is time for you to refocus your investment. Go to choicescoachingconsulting.com and let's you and I start the conversation now before someone else invests in your leaders. When you invest in your leaders, you invest in the bottom line of your business. Connect with Krista at choicescoachingconsulting.com. Act now. Krista at choicescoachingconsulting.com.
Now, America's Small Business Conversation continues
on The Pat Miller Show.
Welcome back to The Pat Miller Show. This is America's Small Business Conversation. And if you've heard the show at all, you know that it's not just dollars and cents on this show. This show is about the small business lifestyle because it's more than just selling stuff. It's more than just making widgets. We are people who are trying to make our dreams come true. So every time we get a chance to talk about more than just business, I jump on it. And joining us today is Krista Morrissey, the Chief Growth Officer for Choices Coaching and Consulting. And we're going to have, I think, what's going to be a really fascinating discussion because we're going to talk about our emotions as a small business owner. Krista, welcome to the Pat Miller Show. How are you today?
I am wonderful. Thanks for having me.
I'm excited to have you. Yeah. And this conversation is definitely important. So we spend all of this time worrying about strategy and tactics, but we seem to never really talk about our emotions as small business owners. Why is that?
Well, it's not a comfortable spot to be in, and there's no solid measurements tied to emotion. So how do you put a KPI to an emotion? You can't. But our emotions feed the success of every KPI and feed the success of how we show up. And so, Pat, what I say is every leader is rooted in a person, and every person is rooted in a life. So when I coach executives or work with executive teams, I work with the people, not the position. And if you think about business owners, we're thinking strategy, measurements. There's people or a person who owns the business. And it is often our emotions that inhibit the success of our business plan, our strategy.
Is it also possible that we don't talk about this much because it's not scalable? There's not a one size that fits all answer when it comes to dealing with emotions as an individual?
Oh, absolutely. It is so individual. And again, it's uncomfortable. There is not a strategy or a system or standard process. It is different for you. It's different for me. And 6 months from now, what worked for you today will be different 6 months from now. And as small business owners, we hide the fact often that we're scared or we're insecure or we've got a fear. Well, when we hold on to them, they play directly against our plan and our vision and our dreams.
So we usually talk about strategies and tactics, but we're going to delve into this squishy underbelly of our emotions here.
Yeah.
So when it comes to dealing with our emotions, when they pop up and bite us, you've got a 4-step process to help us deal with it. So share with us what that process is and how we should think about dealing with our emotions inside the business.
Great. I want to tee that up, Pat, first by saying, the words you use you. So the minute you have a thought, it triggers a feeling, and that feeling drives the behavior. What people don't understand, if it's a negative thought, it creates a negative behavior. That negative behavior feeds another negative thought. So we're caught in the cyclone. And so I often tell people to move, because if you change your geography, you change your perspective. So move, get up and move. This is the only call today that I'm taking from this orientation in my office. Every call is different. I change my geography. I change my perspective. It's the same with our emotions. And the last thing, Pat, before we talk about that 4-step process is, as small business owners dealing with our emotions, it can only be an inside-out journey, because the story on the inside becomes our journey on the outside. So that's why I say be careful of the words you're using, because they use you. So when it comes to emotions, if anybody listening to this has had children when they're toddlers and they want your attention, they're pulling on your pant leg and mommy, mommy, daddy, daddy. Yeah. And all you have to do is look down and they're happy and they run away. And we're wondering as a parent, what did they want? They just wanted our attention. They wanted to remind us we're here. Our emotions are very similar. They come into our life to keep us safe. Instead of dealing with them, we pack them away. And when we do that, they think, oh, Krista needs me. I'm just going to take up residency here. So the 4-step process makes you get real and raw with yourself. Number 1, name the emotion. You literally say, name it. What is here? So what is here? And for some of us, we can feel it in our body. A client said today, oh, it's in my stomach. Great. What is it?
Are you saying give it a literal name, like a person's name, or, oh, that's anxiety back again?
Correct. Yeah. And I'm not going to use that word, Pat, because that takes your brain completely in a spiral. I'll say, I'm feeling resentful. So I feel resentful today, or I'm sad, or I'm nervous about something. And so you've just named it. So you're being true with yourself, what's here. And then the next truth is, why is this here? It can only be there because of a story you told yourself. And every time we see and hear something in the world, we run it through our filter in life. And our filter is the number of years to this point. And it's full of values and boundaries and biases and beliefs and experiences. And the filter is correct. Yours is correct for you. Mine is correct for me. But that filter creates a feeling based on the story we told ourselves.
So the first thing is to name it. Give it a name. I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling upset, whatever it might be. Okay, so that's the first thing. What's the second thing?
Get clear on why it's here. So that is, what is the story you told yourself? Okay. And sometimes in that, we can determine if it's true or not. Don't have to. But it leads to the third step is show gratitude. Our emotions do help keep us safe. So I would say, I said it was resentful. So I'd say, what am I feeling? Well, I'm feeling resentful. Why is that here? Well, for the second week in a row, for some reason, that networking group didn't hand me an invitation. So the story I told myself is, they don't like me. They don't want me. My business isn't good enough for them. It's not big enough. They know I'm not making that much money. All these stories. Well, then when I get honest with it, I can just say, hey, thanks for being here. Thanks for keeping me safe. Because our emotions wake us up.
Talking with Krista Morrissey, Chief Growth Officer of Choices Coaching and Consulting, about a 4-step process to deal with our emotions. Name it, identify the story that got us here, and then the gratitude piece. That just seems like a different way to go about moving forward when you're feeling that way. Why does gratitude work on step number 3?
Oh, yeah. It keeps your emotions above the line. It keeps you in a state of positive, happy, gratitude, thankful. You know, if I say, oh my God, I can't believe I'm resentful. It's here again. Where does that take me? Down. And it's going to filter how I view the world. So I say to my resentfulness, hey, thanks for being here. Thanks for having my back. And then you roll right into step 4, which is you give it permission to leave. So I say, hey, thanks for being here. Thanks for having my back. But I've got this. I'm good. And for me, the cherry on the sundae is I have to say bye-bye. And it literally walks away. And people will tell you, you can feel the weight. Wherever it's at in your body, you can feel it shrink. You can feel it lighten because it no longer has such a strong hold on us.
So by the time you name the emotion. I'm feeling jealous. You have the story of why you're feeling jealous.
Yeah.
You thank it for being there, so you put a positive spin on it, and then you visualize giving permission to leave. I've heard people who do meditation have a visualization of something floating away or walking away. Or is that what you would recommend?
It is. You can do both. Some people just want to visualize it. For me, I visualize it and I say it in my head, or if I'm by myself, I just say, thanks, got it, bye-bye.
So when you have this practice down, you've got this 4-step emotional guardrail installed into your business as a business owner.
Right.
What does that allow you to do? Why is this thing so important?
Again, it keeps you in the positive, the happy mode. To me, I say it keeps you in the hopeful mode. And hope for me is a flourishing of everything. It is a flourishing of humanity, relationship, your business. When you lose hope, where's your business going to go? And so if you're hopeful that I can figure this out, I've got, you know what? I'm going to call and talk to that group to see if I can get some help because I'm stuck here. We do not go into the protective mode when we're in positive and happy. Really, the neuroscience behind it is our brain gets bigger on positive and happy. We can take in more information, we can retain it longer, and we can recall it quicker. When we're not in that happy and positive mode, we can't see past today because we're in the survival mode. We forget about our vision and our dream and taking a step toward that every day.
As we grow our business, emotions are everywhere, and you can either deal with them or not.
Right.
And this 4-step framework will get you further down the road. Krista is one of the best. Krista Morrissey, Chief Growth Officer for Choices Coaching and Consulting. Thank you for the 4-step process, and thanks for coming on the Pat Miller Show.
Thank you for having me.
Running a small business is a roller coaster, and hopefully that conversation will give you some of the tools you need to deal with the day-to-day variance.